just, it's wild. Again, 15 years younger, I would have given this a shot.
I definitely understand that. Courtney, what are your thoughts on this program?
This is a really exciting opportunity. And before I even get into WWE, Boza, I did look at your comment. Number one, this is not going to affect AEW because they do have wrestling schools that some stars came from AEW, as FYI. So
wait, hold on. You're referencing a comment?
Yeah, that Boza put in because they're.
So wait, let me read his comment for the people who are listening. His comment is, this is a great opportunity. There are IWC members and AEW bots that are pissed, saying that this is kill AEW's chance of taking wrestlers. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to put a clear thought in. There are some wrestling schools that some AEW stars came from. So I just want to put a quick FYI. But anyway, shifting over to WWE, this is actually a good opportunity because obviously some of the wrestling schools associated with like Cody and Booker and Seth, along with many others who actually understand the WWE way. And it also gives them more opportunities and a nice pathway as it was years ago because they're so used to having independent. But this is really a nice opportunity to learn the basic steps. Of course, we have NXT with the Performance Center and also elevating NXT as a brand. So I'm really excited for the next generation to really step up to the plate and learn from people who've been in the WWE for more than 2-3 decades. And this is a really great opportunity. And also, I wouldn't be shocked if there was a few collaborations with some of the other wrestling schools that are associated with this as well.
What other wrestling schools would you be considering? Since you said that, I mean, you said that there could be some other wrestling schools that you thought could be included in this at some point.
That's an interesting question because I'm trying to think. There's somebody that did own a school, but I can't even think about it right now. But it'll come back to me. But I meant to say like within the other schools that are associated, that are under contract, that are under associated. So that's what I meant. But this is a really great opportunity. And also the future is looking bright for the youngest rising stars. The future is bright.
Councilman, your thoughts on this program?
This is huge. So it's really this is from a parallel of what I've seen with like the Vince McMahon documentary. If you've watched the whole thing, you kind of realize like what allowed him to get away with a lot of stuff was wrestling wasn't established so much as a business or being taken as seriously as other like sports. This right here shows that TKO knows the potential of how much money wrestling can make. And so now they're starting to turn it into an even bigger conglomerate and expand their hands even more. So I even say like not only just having this for independent people, now I think even the pay increase will start to become a little bit higher for all athletes, especially now that we're seeing Legends deals too. It's like we're starting to establish the structure of the wrestling business as a sport and then and for it to be populated out into the world. And so now it's no more so much scouting as to now you have different hubs that can come in for you to look, for you to pick who you want to go to. And so I think it's just incredible for the brand of wrestling itself and showing that, you know, just living by their whole tagline, then, now, and forever. And they just solidified that with being able to connect with these academies, with these schools, and just who else they might be able to bring in too as the stuff develops. And then two things that I first thought about when this happened was one, shout out to Reality of Wrestling. I used to wrestle some of those cats back when I was younger, like Dion said. Booker T has been doing this thing. Shout out to Brad Gilmore as well. All of them over there. It is well deserved. They've done so much work like since then. And then two, seeing the Nightmare Factory means we're one step closer to NXT Bonafide. We're one step closer. We're one step closer to it.
That's a pathway.
That's a pathway because it ain't because it may not just be wrestlers.
Well, then there is that for sure. Honey, let me ask you a question. What do you make of the idea that in just the last 3 years, WWE has created programs like NIL and now this WWID or WWEID to create these pathways to WWE when that wasn't existing before? Why do you think they've gone this route of doing this?
Honestly, I think, just to continue running the machine and, be continuing to show that they know what to do when it comes to creating new stars and bigger stars and stars of the future. I'm really glad. Once I saw this, I was like, this is absolutely awesome. This is amazing, especially for anyone who would aspire to want to be on a WWE stage. I'm glad they're giving us the tough enough without the whole TV thing and the reality series thing. Serious. And now I'm not saying, and I'm not I'm not dumbing down on Tough Enough either, because Tough Enough was great for the time that it was. But I'm just glad that, now, like Dion said, there's an outlet, like an official outlet where you can be specific in where and exactly what you want to do when it comes to being a wrestler or becoming a wrestler, and we want to make it to, pretty much the big leagues, and WWE is that league. I think that it's very, very promising, and I think that it's in very good. They're going to be in very good hands, especially for the new stars, because they're so, when you got guys like Triple H and Shawn Michaels running the ship, and William Regal as such, all very renowned superstars that we know have a tremendous history of knowing what it takes to perform in the ring. That it's only sky's the limit. Like if anything such, because who knows what kind of superstar we'll see in the future that that does something that we've never seen before, or that pulls out a new character that we never thought that we'd probably be talking about for 30, 40, 50 years going forward. You know what I'm saying? The next Undertaker level, the next Shawn Michaels level, those performers, So I think this is something very special, and I think this is great for WWE, and yeah, they're just continuing to pull out all the stops on exactly what they can do and how they can branch out as a business. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really brilliant what WWE has done with this. By the way, shout out Easy Not, such a nice comment. When life gets you down, WWT makes it feel better. That's awesome. We appreciate that. Let's see. Boza says they picked some really good schools with credibility. For those that want to get in the business and are scared to pick a school because they don't want to get scammed, this will make that process easier based on where you're located. So here's what I think is interesting about this. For one, there was a time where with the pro wrestling business, there really was not a formal process on how you get in. It was just maybe if somebody discovered you somewhere at a gym or somewhere, and it was all very, very quiet. And much to your point, Will, about how basically the wrestling business wasn't, I don't want to use the term regulated, but you know what I mean by that. A lot of the wrestling schools from there kind of just did their own thing. So there are all of these horror stories about people who paid, $10,000 and the trainer ran away with the money and, they never really got trained. So there's that. I can tell you from firsthand experience that one of the cool things that certain schools have done because they had certain levels of access is they were able to bring in certain superstars to talk to their students and to demonstrate certain things to their students. So, Sheamus has been to the Nightmare Factory to talk to the students. John Cena has come through. A number of very prominent names have come through, and obviously, that helps. But I think what's so cool about the Nightmare Factory specifically is you have both kind of this pathway to both WWE and AEW that has come through the Nightmare Factory. The Nightmare Factory was so instrumental for AEW through that pandemic era. A lot of people who got opportunities came straight from the Nightmare Factory. And so, in terms of whoever thinks that this is a ploy to kill AEW or anybody else can partner with any school they want to. Like this is not something that WWE said, we're going to do this to shut y'all down. No, I think WWE was wise enough to say, we need to access more talent.
Yep.
And by going this route, this also authenticates the fact that WWE is paying attention to the independent circuit. That's something that has never been publicly acknowledged before. So this is groundbreaking on so many levels. Yes.
And then just to add too, now you'll start to get more of a roster where some of these talents get to take a break. Like they don't have to work so long on the road to where it's like, yo, it's taking such a toll on their bodies. They actually do get to be, like what they consider like, I don't want to use the word, I don't want to say part-time because, just because of how it gets, but like a Seth Rollins doesn't have to be there every Monday or doesn't have to be on there 5 days a week. He can literally just show up on Raw.
Here's another thing that people should consider, and I know most don't think about it. Remember, and Dion, you made a great point, and I wanted to come back to it. You are there working in colleges, and so you see all of these student athletes. Not every student athlete makes it to the pros. And so I think it's important that people understand that not everyone who goes through these schools is going to WWE. That's just not the case. They're still going to be the best of the best. Now, this is why, and I think it was a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, someone was in the chat saying, why are you talking about anything other than WWE and AEW? These moments happen and I can't make them up, right? WWE is watching more than WWE. Okay? They're watching more. And so if you want to be on top of what's really happening out there, then that's why you do that. So this is kind of another cheap plug for you now to really go back and watch these student showcases from the Nightmare Factory specifically. Because there are 14 of them out there. I think there might be a 15th one. But they're all out there. You can check them out. You can check out some of the wrestlers who are there for the first time. You get to learn a lot about personalities and what you can see and the promise of what some people can do. So shout out to, again, all of these great schools who are getting this WWE ID stamp of approval. I'm sure their enrollment is going to skyrocket from this. When it comes to the Nightmare Factory, it was already popular because of QT, because of Cody at that point in AEW. Now Cody's the WWE champion. I mean, like, these kinds of things really do make a difference for these kinds of schools. And, so shout out to, again, all of the schools that are connected to this. And I think this is a great time for independent wrestlers and those who are not wrestlers who are still involved in the wrestling industry. Again, mentioning commentary and ring announcing and those types of things. People don't think about this, but those are harder jobs to fill than jobs as wrestlers because there are fewer of them, So I think, again, this creates a great path for everybody involved and a great opportunity, I think. So shout out to WWE for this. Amazing. This is amazing.
Amazing opportunity.
It is amazing. All right. So from there, then there's this thing called NXT.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Baby, listen.
So let's start with the debut of Zarya last night. Zarya took on Brinley Reese, who Brinley Reese was just at the TNA pay-per-view Bound for Glory. Shout out to her. Before we talk about what happened after this match, can we talk about what Zarya did in this match? I think we saw one of the most gruesome things we've ever seen on live TV And there's kind of a picture of it right now. Councilman, you look like you're itching to get at this. Zaria, talk to me about Zaria.
NXT got a problem. It is in Zaria. Like and it's just because I know he's in some hot water, but I'm trying to scoop that to the side. But when you say beast reincarnated, it is in this woman. Like, just watching her during the watch along, and then shout out to Brindley Reese as well, because it takes two to tango, and
$1 million.
And the way she had her look and the way she was doing it, this showed you that Zaria is no joke. And then what did happen after there, it's a reason why all of them came out. The match was solid. The arm thing, which I found out was actually true. She really did dislocate her elbow, and she popped it back.
Oh, that really?
Was crazy.
Yeah. Brindley told her, pop it back in. Like, just pop it back in.
It was crazy.
And so she popped it back in the socket. And if you notice, the ref goes, just
look at the ref.
Just to make sure she okay. No, like, she really did that.
It was unbelievable.
And I couldn't unsee it. I couldn't unsee it. I thought it was literally. I mean, it reminded me of that time that happened with Alexa Bliss, didn't it? When her arm was, but she actually like did it to the point where she can control that herself. But even still, I was just like, oh God, I can't unsee this. I can't unsee this. It's just a bit gruesome for my taste, but I understand the cause and the effect and the reaction, and the Zaria girl. I just hope these ladies know to stay out of your way. That's all I know. That is all I know.
And not to mention just the highlight of the whole match, watching a woman do the F5
has been long awaited. Yeah,
and she got it. Like, I went watch that like 3 times on socials, just like, yo, she really F5 and women, and she got the spear. Both, you have both of these in your arsenal, and you doing this. Oh,
I'm here for it.
What a day! What a night!
And she didn't look out of place standing beside Rhea either.
Nope.
In that backstage segment too. I was like,
she belongs.
I want to see that too.
She belongs.
She can talk. That was the thing that I was like, when she was back there, I was like, oh, she probably got some real good mics, because I don't know too much about Zaria, formerly known as Delta. So, but when she spoke, I was like, oh, she actually got mic skills too. Oh yeah, this is, now we cooking.
Yeah, this is something. So after the match, we get a visit from the new North American champion, Fallon Henley, and Fatal Influence. It seems like it's 3-on-1. Then Roxanne and Cora Jade show up. It's 5-on-1. Then the former North American champion shows up, 5-on-2. Then Julia and Stephanie show up, 5-on-4. How do we even the odds with a certain juggernaut?
Man, 5.
Listen,
let's just hell of a start to 5.
But before we get into what's going to happen next week, let's just talk about this picture right here. And I have a question. How did NXT's women's division move from developmental in 2.0, which was all of 3 years ago, if that long? It might be 2 years ago, actually. How did we go from that to this?
The one thing I'll say is because they still had a room to elevate. So right now, for the men's division, you have to try to way to innovate. Like, you have to now bring us something new. So it's like, what is the next step for all of y'all? We've never seen this in this capacity. So not only for these women to have the capability to look like divas and also fly around, have the powerhouse method, and just give you phenomenal matches and storylines, and is now having the opportunity to do it. Nothing stereotypical. None of these, oh, well, we'll have y'all do this. No, we're settling this in the ring. And all of these women have put this on their shoulders. It's no longer just horsewomen. Like I say it on NXT all the time. Like, it is A-okay if you let the men's division take the back seat right now, because the women got this.
Mm-hmm.
Whew!
Yeah,
This was.
All right.
I would just like to take this moment to say thank you, Sean. Thank you so much, Shawn Michaels. I bow down to you, sir. You are absolutely cooking in the kitchen like never before. This picture is like, there's so many big women's moments that have happened this year, and this is definitely one of those pictures that are like, look, how the hell did we even get here? You know, I feel like we were just talking about Julie and Stephanie yesterday, you know, and them signing with us, and then Jordan Grace, you know, gracing us with her presence every now and then throughout the year 2024. And then you also have formerly known as Delta, now known as Zarya, along with Kaylani, ushering in the future for what the women's division is going to look like. Like, get ready. Like, NXT, I hope, is ready. The main roster needs to y'all gear it up. Because there's so much star power in this 5 right here, and I'm absolutely loving it. I would say for this moment, especially on this grand of a scale with these women, this could be a 5 horsewoman right here of NXT. I said it. I'll be the first to say it.
Whoa.
The other side's not bad either, but
I was like, my client's not in this image.
No.
When you said that,
but your client is definitely amongst these. If there was, you know,
so a 6 horsewoman is what you say.
sure, why not?
Okay.
I mean, 200 days as champion. Need we say more?
207. So
Got it. Right, sir.
Wow.
200 plus 200.
Got it.
Pardon me.
Any thoughts on this, Courtney?
I was just blown away when I saw this last night. And ladies in the main roster, they need to step up their game, because looking at this, and I can see why some stars from the main roster want to come to NXT and want to interact with the talent. Oh my God, next week. Dear God. Dear God.
We're going to get into next week in just a second. I have another question that I want to ask. I'm just trying to figure out if I want to do it now or after this. So, Dion, I'll start with you. I'll just go to this next one, and then I'll come back to my other question. For those who don't know,
man,
here's the 10-man tag happening, or 10-woman tag happening.
This is beautiful.
On the right side, you have, Zarya, Stephanie Vacour, Kalani Jordan, Julia, Jordan Grace. 4 former world champions and the inaugural North American champion on that right side. On the left side, you've got the current North American champion in Fallon Henley. You've got the rest of Fatal Influence. You've got Cora Jade and the current NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez.
Oh my God.
This is happening next week. NXT 2300.
ECW.
Dion, what do you say to this? I mean,
it says I'm watching NXT 2300. That's like that's
okay. So now let me pose this question, because what we just saw at Halloween Havoc looked like it could have been one of the biggest women's moments of the year with that tag team match.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're looking at this 10-woman tag match. Okay. All right, here's the real question. The real question is, which is the more iconic women's moment of the year? These 5 ladies,
Ooh.
Oh man.
or the finger point from Bianca, Jade, and Naomi.
Oh, that's tough.
Why would you do that?
Oh, and you tee that up
awful.
to me first?
Wow.
That's awful, Professor.
Wow.
I'm glad
That's
I'm not in this
wild.
hot seat.
Oh man.
Oh, it's coming to you.
No, don't make me do it.
Okay, so given the history of WWE, I'm gonna take that Jade and Naomi and Bianca shot. That's gonna be on posters for forever. That's gonna be shown forever. There's a lot of weight to that one. This, when I see it, I just think about all the other possibilities. Well, the first one makes me think about, damn, that gun Professor made me curse.
You screwed him up.
Yeah.
You screwed him up. You messed him up.
It was
Professor.
just,
If you want
Look
to
what
tag
you're
me in, you
doing
can.
here.
here, take it.
Yeah. So here's why I can say this is just me being biased. This is my opinion. Here's why this moment is bigger to me, because the 3 points you suggested, yes, it was very pivotal, but I think what was more pivotal and important when I saw it was Bianca and Jade. I mean, not Bianca and Jade, Bianca and Sasha at WrestleMania fighting for the championship. That was way bigger to me than the 3 point.
They main event it, right?
Yeah, on night one, and that was, and I was there. That was something to see. So that's why I was saying I can again. I'm not knocking the 3 point. That is iconic, and like he said, that's gonna be a poster. But this right here is going to be the reason why for the next 15 years we're now talking about why the women's wrestlers are number one. And just like if every one of us here, we saw where the women's division was in the Attitude Era, the Golden Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era. And anyone, even what's her face? Mae Young is just smiling up in the rafters above right now, seeing that this is where it is right now. And you see so much in this image from independent, PC. All of these women are going to be champions.
Yeah.
Every single
You see champions in every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a good hot tag, Will. Thanks.
I got you. I was like, Professor, what you okay?
A hot tag.
I want to hear your thoughts, Courtney, and your thoughts, Honey, as well, because I asked this question because this picture and the point represent something very, very significant. And remember, the question here is certainly for this year, which is the bigger moment for women's wrestling? Courtney.
There's been many moments. Not this moment in particular, but I kind of have to go back to NXT a bit. When Roxanne and Julia first faced off, we saw Stephanie Vaquer. And that just sent chills down my spine when Stephanie came out, because Roxanne and Julia had no idea what to do. And that was just really mind-blowing, and we knew the direction the women's division was going. This photo in particular, I never would have thought this would happen 3, 4, 5 years ago. But looking at this image, yeah, these girls are cooking on NXT. These ladies are cooking, and it's just going to keep getting better and better. And even going to Councilman's point, not just Mae Young, but Sensational Sherry, Miss Elizabeth, even Bull Nakano has to be so proud of all these ladies that are just putting in and week out. And all of them are going to be champions somewhere down the line. They're all going to be champions. And they're going to keep bringing out memorable matches in the next 3, 4, 5 years to come.
Honey?
Man, I mean, I'm not going to be put in the middle of this. I will say both photos
Oh no.
are
You gotta
equally
ask.
iconic. No, I said what I said, Dion. They're equally iconic because not for nothing, without one photo, you wouldn't have the other. So I mean, it definitely makes the case for Jade, Bianca, and Naomi because that was just something I never thought I'd see. This picture is also something I never thought I'd see. I It's just special, and they're all strong women, and they're internationally known for, and there's lots of former world champions and future world champions in this group, and especially in WWE now. I mean, it's just like, who would have, I never would have thought, like, I don't know why I'm even stuttering, because it's just like, it's actually like that much, to be taken aback by, because it's a lot of wrestling, and it's overwhelming, but it's just so iconic and so great that we're finally put in a position to be able to showcase women as athletes and superstars, and you have your ultimate warrior in some of these here. You have your RVD in some of those there. You have your Asukas here, and like, it's just absolutely dope to see. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pick or say one is better than the other or one's more iconic than the other. They're both equally as iconic because they're both contributing and very pivotal in women's wrestling right now. It's probably one of the most important years for women's wrestling this year, because they're finally put on the forefront and not fighting for that number one spot. You're seeing them main event. You're seeing a women's casket match like last night. Tatum Paxley and Wendy Chu in their first women's casket match. Like, why have we never gotten that before when we've had so many iconic women figures that kind of trailed on that dark realm? So, but I mean, it who run the world? Who run the world? Girls. Thank you.
Yep.
You just made a statement that I don't think many people have considered in all of the talks about 2024. I don't think anyone came into this year considering that it would be the most important year for women's wrestling. But when you look at all things women's wrestling, all the way across the board, like, we're seeing a very, very special time right now. I mean, and it started at the top of the year with Jordan Grace showing up at the Royal Rumble. With Naomi coming back at the Rumble, with Jade Cargill debuting in the Rumble, Bailey winning the Rumble. There are so many women's moments that we can talk about. This picture that we're seeing in front of us is just, I mean, it's literally one of those things. And just to shock value, just seeing this right here for next week, these are 10 women. There was a time where there were barely 10 women in the division.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And these are top of the card. There's still a ton of other women that are not in this photo that are killing it in NXT.
Yeah.
And on this NXT show next week, you're still gonna have Lola Vice and
Jada Parker.
Jada Parker in a hardcore match.
Oh my God.
So this match isn't just so we can have a women's match on the card and get as many women on there as possible. You still have,
they're letting you know.
Do you see what I mean? So we still haven't talked about Nikita Lyons. We haven't talked about Ruka. We haven't we haven't talked about Lash and Jakara. This is incredible. Speaking of Lash and Jakara, you've got the women's tag team titles seemingly mattering for maybe the first time in their history, as we now have 4 teams going over to Saudi Arabia, of all places. I hope people understand that for women to get the call to go to Saudi Arabia is a big deal. It's a huge deal, because not only do you have to be a great wrestler, but you have to be able to demonstrate that you honor their culture as well, because you're not going to be able to wear your normal gear. You're not going to be able to go out and do all the things you normally do. So for an NXT team like Lash and Jakara to get that call,
it's huge,
to go to Saudi.
It's amazing.
Huge opportunity.
That's so great. That's probably one of their biggest moments yet.
Oh, without question. Without question.
I'm sorry. This match or this night alone, NXT 2300, this night alone is one of those answers to a question where if somebody asks you if you could travel back in time, where would you go? It would be this night. I would want to be there or
where
fly
were
on the
you?
wall somewhere
Yeah.
this night, because this night is going to be absurd.
It is. It is. It is. Councilman, you're saying something, but you are muted, sir.
I just wanted to thank Roxanne Perez for all of what she's done. We would not be here had it not been for her being such an incredible NXT Women's Champion this year. So I just thought that as we thank Trish for what she's done. Thank you, Roxanne.
Wait, I have one for you, Councilman. Thank you, Cody Rhodes.
Thank you, Seth Rollins.
Only because NXT Border Fighters involved in this. I'm going to let that one go. Only because of that. This is the only time Cody changing the story is a benefit because we're one step closer. I will take that.
So much fun. Let's see. Even if Metaphor doesn't win, it's huge. The fact that they're in Saudi. Yes. And yes, all three brands are being represented there, which I think is a massive, massive moment. So this is just a great, great time to be alive for sure. So with that said, our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to Chris Bay. TNA had made an official statement regarding Chris Bay. And matter of fact, Chris Bay made a statement that he made through TNA, and he said, quote, "I just want to take a few moments to extend my heartfelt thanks and deepest appreciation for so much and to so many over the past few days, from everyone at TNA Wrestling to the incredible medical staff here in Detroit, to family, friends, and fans worldwide. I know you have been praying for my full recovery from the in-ring accident this past Sunday. Monday was day one for me on this journey, which I know will be long and challenging. Thanks again for the love and support, and please keep the prayers coming." There is a GoFundMe put together for Chris Bay, which you can certainly contribute to. You can also go to ProWrestlingTees.com. They've got a lot of his gear and a special shirt there for him. I want to, and I'll go to you first, Dion, on this one. Normally, when these kinds of accidents happen within a company, you don't often hear the company being so upfront about it. Yeah. So what are your thoughts about, TNA being so forthcoming with something of this nature ever since it happened Sunday night?
Yeah, I think this is good and progressive, right? It's like that this person was hurt. We're going to be asking about him. People care about him. So it's like, well, let's just inform the fans of this is what was happening. And the fact that when you're reading that too, the fact that there's so many avenues to sort of help now too, with the crowdfunding, with Pro Wrestling Tees. So it's almost like a community now, right? Like it's always been a community for like the wrestling community, or even just like the wrestling fan community too. Now you get a chance to help it or help someone with it. So I think them being transparent about it just shows that evolution of wrestling too, knowing that like, people care about them, people care about or want to know what's going on or what's happening, within reason. So why not just like, okay, this is where this is what happened. This is the journey that I'm going to go on now. And now you get to follow that with the recovery and getting back into the ring. So yeah, I think again, it's one of those progressive things that you hope over time. It is just not like storyline or like we won't put out too much about it or anything like that. I think the transparency is the best thing, especially if we have the ability to help too.
Yeah, I agree. Your thoughts on this, Councilman, as well?
I just agree with Dion. I think we're in a position where the company is showing just how much they do care about the wrestler themselves now. Not just kind of how much can they push them or how much they can make off of them, but just like, really caring about the person that is putting their body on the line each and every single time they're out there. And and then, like he said, like to Dion's point again, the community, and now with social media and having easier access to be able to get to your favorite superstars and support them in any way you can. So wrestling is white hot. Even when you have these moments, it just proves to you why it's like, we are in a great time to be a part of the wrestling community. And just I pray for a speedy recovery for him so he's back in the ring.
Yeah, it's interesting. It just based on the way things are said and have been said, it certainly leads you to the fact that not only is this a serious injury, but it is the kind of injury that, quite frankly, could be long-term. And when I say long-term, meaning it could be a long time before we see Chris Bay, which I think is really powerful. Courtney, tell me your thoughts on, because a number of wrestlers have already contributed to this GoFundMe, including Chris Jericho, who, well, if I mention Chris Jericho's name, I know you'll go up. Chris Jericho has donated $2,500. Matt Hardy has donated $3,000. Scott D'Amore, who was the former president of TNA, has donated $5,000. Adam Copeland, the wrestler known as Edge, has donated $10,000. What kind of statement do you think this makes to see other wrestlers being so very public about their support of Chris Bay?
This is a big deal because, as both Councilman and Dion mentioned, wrestling is community. And anytime they hear somebody that has had a serious injury or they're trying to do crowdfunding on surgery, people will come in and support. And seeing some of these guys that you mentioned Matt Hardy, Adam Copeland, Chris Jericho. This is not the first time Jericho and many others have done this, but it's just really nice to see because people tend to forget at the end of the day, wrestlers are humans. And also, it really shows the human side of it because they care. And also, they want him to have a speedy recovery. And it does make my heart happy to see this community just be so supportive of each other and just wishing him the best of luck, especially in a speedy recovery. And also, especially with Scott D'Amore, because even though he parted ways with TNA, he still cares about some of the wrestlers that are within TNA and the relationships he built during his tenure when he was in TNA. So that really speaks a lot of volumes, and actions speak louder than words.
Your thoughts on this, honey, in terms of so many wrestlers and, quite frankly, fans as well, stepping up to be a part of this for Chris Bay?
I mean, being one of the most renowned wrestlers on the independent scene and, Ring of Honor, New Japan, the history that he has, and especially that he's still so young and has so much more time. Nowadays, being that it's, a little easier, especially to stay in wrestling a little longer, as long as you keep yourself healthy. But I think it's very special. I think it definitely shows exactly how much wrestling fans and those who do wrestle, they're, like Courtney said, we're all human. We have emotions, we have feelings, we have families that we need to feed, and we do occasionally, hopefully not intentionally, obviously, but anybody can have an accident or anybody can go through something traumatic that could completely change their lives, and to be there for them is exactly what they need. More love is more medicine for them, to be able to get through and push through and recover, just to make sure that he comes back with some good energy, as well as fully recovered and back and ready to be on top of things. But before that, you have to get through the emotional and the mental health of it all, because that also takes a toll in times like this, especially when you've been used to doing something for so long and all of a sudden life happens. And we're all unfortunately not indestructible. We're not superhuman. You know, we do bend and break sometimes, and we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves. But I think having a strong community and strong backing and family and love all around you is definitely key to getting through the physical recovery as well as the mental recovery. So I think that's really awesome for Chris Bay. It says a lot about him as well.
Shout out also to some other names you might be familiar with, like Cody Rhodes, Nick Nemeth, Matt Cardona, Will Ospreay, QT Marshall, Jonathan Gresham, Jordan Grace. These are just a few of the names who have also contributed to this. So again, if you'd like to be a part of that, you can go to either tnawrestling.com or you can go to GoFundMe and search for Chris Bay. I am happy to say that since this has been started and it's only been going on for maybe a day or so, maybe 2 days tops, they've raised already $77,000. So that's amazing. And I think the other thing people need to understand about this scenario, particularly, you know, wrestling companies operate differently. And in a space like, say, WWE or TNA, where you might have AEW, where you might have a guaranteed contract where you get paid whether you're working or not. You know, if you're out, then you won't, you know, it's no big deal. But in a space like TNA, where there aren't these guaranteed contracts and you may end up getting paid per appearance or per performance, when you don't get to perform, that obviously directly impacts your income. So if you're able to contribute, please do so. That will be something quite amazing for sure. All right, in the spirit of the holiday, Ring of Honor will not be left out, as they will be presenting their Ring of Horror match this Thursday, as the forever champion Athena takes on Abaddon for the Women's World Championship. And I don't see Athena losing. But who knows? It's a horror match. It's right up Abaddon's alley. You guys, of course, can tune into Honor Club to check this out on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That leads us, of course, to tonight, Fright Night Dynamite, which there's a watch along for with Courtney at the top of the hour. Preview of what this will look like. It will include, I think, a strong card tonight. Camille and Chris Statlander. We've been waiting for this one. That's happening tonight. Also, Swerve Strickland and Shelton Benjamin happening tonight. That's going to be incredible. You got Adam Cole and Buddy Matthews, and this is Adam Cole's return to the ring. First time back in quite some time. This is giving me black and gold vibes right here.
Yes.
So this is
very
going to be
much
special. Also, we'll hear from Hangman Page, and not to be outdone, Courtney will be on the show tonight. And she will speak loud and proud. Since Orange Cassidy probably won't be there, so she'll be in place of Orange Cassidy. But here's, and last but not least, there's a tag team title match. The Young Bucks and Private Party. If Private Party loses this match, they will split up. So I'll go to you first, Courtney. Do we have new tag team champions tonight?
I smell shenanigans in this match because I have a feeling it's gonna end possibly either in a no disqualification and somebody's gonna interfere in this match. Because I have a feeling Private Party's gonna stay, but I just have a gut feeling this is gonna end possibly in a no disqualification.
End in a no disqualification. Help me with that.
For
you mean
this,
a double disqualification or?
Possibly a single one. I would not be shocked if there was interference.
Okay.
Possibly from Moxley, because he has attacked Private Party the last couple weeks with Daniel Garcia. So I would not be shocked if they did interfere in this match. Or I would not be shocked if somebody from the Elite came in and tried to help out the Young Bucks as well.
Oh, you mean it's going to end in a disqualification?
Yeah, it's going to end.
So you mean the Young Bucks to keep the titles, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was just gonna wait that one out, and when we got there, we would get there. So got it. All right. So I want to throw an interesting question because I'm looking at this card. Young Bucks Private Party, Adam Cole, Buddy Matthews, Swerve and Shelton Benjamin, Camille, Chris Statlander. Dion, is this card on for the wrong week?
Probably.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just thinking this is a really strong card.
Yeah, now since you said that, I'm like, okay, what was that card next week gonna be when we got a 5-on-5? We got RVD coming back, we got Bubba back, Francine, Don Marie. No telling who else might pop up. The FBI might pop up, which I'm hoping that'll make me like Tony D, but that's another story for another day. Maybe. I mean, it all depends on what we see after this. Because if this week is stronger than next week, it's another AEW what are you doing sort of moment.
Honey, is this card on the right week? Is this the right week for this, or should this have happened next week?
This probably should have happened next week, but I feel like we go through this all the time with the cards, like especially with these cards. Like this also could be a pretty healthy pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like if they wanted to do that, but fake TK and his strategies. But yeah, I would have to say that this is probably. I mean, it's probably for the best. I mean, unless they could come. I don't know what is going to transpire from all of this that could potentially lead into battling what's going to be going down next Wednesday, but they better kick it up by tonight. We would have to wait and see what happens from 8 to 10 or 11. I'm not sure. What are they? 2 hours, 3 hours? Who knows these days?
2 hours. Yeah, it's probably 2 hours.
Okay.
With an occasional overrun, who knows?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But I mean, this could have easily been a nice, healthy pay-per-view, but nah, I don't know. Maybe they should have waited till next week. Maybe.
But then the booking just seems so week to week too, honey. So it's like, really, what's a better card than for next week? Just whatever you think up.
We better break out the big guns. You better break out Mercedes or somebody to tell their ass to get them up in that ring and start moving. Do something.
Yeah.
Let's see. Special Nobody says they have a better chance at a bigger audience this week. More people will be watching NXT next week, and they must know that at this point. Well, here's what's interesting to me about that, Special Nobodies. What's interesting to me about that is Wednesday nights are their given time slot. So people could make the argument that, their performance when they went head to head on Title Tuesday was because they weren't on their normal time slot. And so the argument could be made that for next week, it's the normal Dynamite time slot. NXT is the one that's switching. Will NXT ultimately end up being the one that suffers? So with that idea, Councilman, let me ask you, with Dynamite showing up on its normal time next week, does Dynamite need to do anything different? Do they need to pull out something? And here's the question. What should they pull out next week to cause us to turn the channel from NXT on a Wednesday, no less?
Yes, they do. They do need to change it just because of what's going on. Like, if you are to ignore that, you are opening yourself to a shot of them over exceeding you on Wednesday, especially with how much they stack the card, because they've stacked the card with, I believe, too. And again, I'm not saying that, we're doing this because of AEW, but if you look at it, to your point, Professor, they also, I think, know that it's like, hey, we're on a night we're not usually on. We need to try to draw a crowd in on a Wednesday. Now, with that being said, though, because of the way this is stacked, you do open your chance to them, everybody going to see NXT because it's now on a Wednesday and a different day. And then, especially what it's after, you're going to want some right entertainment after, having to go cast your vote the previous day.
Yeah.
And so I would even think for all of those things involved, AEW would want to make themselves a great card to have a phenomenal Wednesday, not just to compete with NXT, but just for them in general. And I don't know who on there they could do, but if I'm just being honest, this is the only thing that's going to save AEW. This is it. This is it. If he don't come out Wednesday,
I was gonna say, what if, just throwing it out there because you never know. But would Keith Lee be a surprise enough to make you want to change the channel? A Keith Lee return?
Well, how about? Well, I was gonna say, is Bobby Lashley strong enough?
Oh,
nah. You named two. As much as we want Keith Lee, I can go rewatch that on socials.
You want me to change?
If this was 2004 and we wasn't on socials like that, yes. But now that I got social media, yeah.
You want me to change the channel next week? Make Malachi Black the champion. Screw y'all. I said it.
If you want to really do that, have Queen Aminata beat Mercedes Moné.
Oh, I would live.
Now, that would be a moment.
That would be something. Give me that moment.
Yeah,
I would live.
It would just being on the realistic point. I think the only match out of this one would have been great for next Wednesday is the tag team match. I think that also would have been a great stipulation because if they win, it is going to be a big moment for the tag division. But again, they're worried about filling out where they already are, which is Wednesday. And I'm not mad at them because, like I said, this is a solid card. And not for nothing, they kind of have been keeping a consistent solid card for Dynamite since All In.
Yeah, they've had some good showings, and so I'm just curious to see what next week will look like, because NXT has already started at least showing a little of its hand, and I say a little because they still got some things in their back pocket that they're not even gonna remotely let you know.
You gotta watch to see.
You gotta watch to see, and I'm just and you think that that's the guy who's gonna save AEW, but that might be the guy who shows up in the ECW arena.
I can see, hey, because he needs. I ain't gonna lie. The men's division needs Joe Hendry.
Yeah, we need Joe Hendry. The world needs Joe Hendry.
Yeah,
we Joe Hendry. By the way, his entrance with the Slim Shady with the chainsaw album cover, sickening.
Yo, if Eminem really came out with him, though, I'd have been like.
Yeah, that'd have been nuts.
I'd have been like, you need to come up already. Move up to the upper room you go.
That'd have been nuts. So remember again, Dynamite kicks off at the top of the hour, and you can join Courtney here for the watch along at the top of the hour as well. All right, here's how you can reach out to all of us by way of these good socials. Dion.
Yeah, over on All-Star Fandom Show on TikTok and Instagram. Over on YouTube as well. A few videos dropping this week. Next week, got a few things too that Will may know about, but we'll figure it out from there. But yeah, follow me over there. Follow me, follow me everywhere, man. I'm everywhere. Finishing my story.
The people's nightmare.
People's nightmare. Councilman, how can they find you?
Oh, I'm gonna let them go because I got my announcement. So
I'm sorry. Courtney, of course, you'll be here at the top of the hour, but how can they connect with you?
You're mute.
Mic's off, baby girl.
You mute Courtney Cassidy.
Hear me now.
Right. There you go, Courtney Cassidy.
Nobody puts Courtney Cassidy on mute.
Nobody.
Sorry. You can always, at the top of the hour, you can always find me on the That's So Long for Wednesday because it is Fright Night. It is Fright Night for Dynamite. You catch me here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on WWT Live. You can always find me on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, you're going to catch me in Orange Cassidyville because, pretty much. If my phone, yeah, you're gonna catch me at Orange Cassidyville with the shades.
I can't.
So I'm gonna get this music to play on this. I'm gonna make it happen.
Listen, now hopefully we don't get flagged. That's important. So, honey, how can the people find you?
You can always find me here Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays with the WWT Live crew. Don't forget to check out the Honey Pop Predictions on all the socials and anything wrestling with Honey on the socials except X. And you can always find me in Wyatt Six City and fighting the merges.
I'm gonna fight all these urges, my brother.
So funny to me. That's so funny to me. Should I let council? Okay, councilman.
No. I'm saying you can go ahead and go.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
you can find me at All Things Bonnerfied. All Things Bonnerfied. Yeah, on the socials. My work with Ashe Wrestling at AsheWrestling.com. Ashe 6 will be coming very soon, so you guys can check that out. I had the privilege of doing commentary for that. And get ready because the 1-year anniversary show for Ashe, December the 7th, where we will crown the first Ashe Wrestling men's champion. And that championship belt is just
Beautiful.
Just
beautiful.
It is just.
I want one. They sell replicas yet? Y'all got the replicas
right,
on the website?
right?
Everybody's asking for the replica already. It's amazing. It is amazing. So yeah, All Caribbean Wrestling, allcaribbeanwrestling.com, doing some great work with them. Some fun things are coming out with them very soon as well. You can check out my work with Southern Honor and IWE on IWTV. You can also check out my work with the Nightmare Factory. I've been telling y'all all this time that people may go watch now because it's like, oh, WWE ID. So you can check it out where I am doing commentary for the student showcases. So that's a lot of fun. I told y'all I was going to have an announcement for you guys.
You did say that. I didn't want to say it, but you did say that.
But see, now the councilman's got an announcement, so we don't want to
drop him back.
He wants to be last, so I will save it for Friday. I was going to do it today, but I'll save it for Friday.
You know who to blame? Man. You know who to blame? Cody Rhodes.
It's Cody Rhodes' fault. I'm just letting y'all know.
Cody for that.
I'm totally no, you definitely blame the councilman for that. No, blame the councilman.
All right, councilman, the floor is yours.
All right. Hey, I just gotta wait till Friday, the original date that he said he'd do it. He's sticking to his guns. All right. Y'all just gotta be patient and let it cook.
Yeah. I think you'll enjoy it though.
I'm hungry.
Yes, I'm excited for Friday. But ladies and gentlemen, I do have an announcement. Thanks to the real TK, she is allowing the WWT universe to expand. If you are a fan of me on YouTube and Twitch, you are familiar with a premium Trill promotion that I put on. But if you do not know, I'm going to let you be introduced to what I call Trill Championship Wrestling, and we have a big announcement in regards to this. You are now in tune with the greatest wrestling promotion in Houston, Texas. This is where only the Trill will survive. The greatest and brightest superstars enter into the battle arena of the Trill Championship Wrestling industry. This is for Houston. This is for real wrestling. This is TCW. And in case you don't know, TCW will now be streaming Thursdays, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on WWT's YouTube and Twitch, as well as mine. And what better way for us to premiere than to give the first ever premium Trill event. And it's not taking place in Houston, ladies and gentlemen. It's taking place That's right. We are overtaking Melbourne, Australia. We will be in the Marvel Stadium tomorrow, starting at 5. And just so Dion is a little even more pissed because of his brand, we are giving you the exclusive matches tonight. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will have a 2 out of 3 falls match for the #1 contendership for the TCW Women's Championship. Ashley Torres will take on Sophia Adams. We also have the Hall of Famers. The Dudley Boys will be taking on the Empire of Pain for the TCW Tag Team Champions in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. These 2 tag teams have been cooking it up on TCW, and it all has to end somewhere. We also have the TCW International Championship on the line. Eric King will take on the Olympian Omar Jackson. And of course, our 2 main events. We have the TCW Women's Championship on the line. Kari Beretta will take on the Princess Lily P in a Falls Count Anywhere match. If you have watched the show, you have known these 2 have been going at it backstage, ring, outside of the ring, everywhere. And it is time for the title to be put on the line. But the main event.
Dion.
He's
so uninterested.
He's so hurt. Big Meaty is looking to finally secure at the top of the mountain and become the face of TCW as he will take on the Goliath Willie P in a Hell in a Cell match. It is the final chapter in this epic rivalry. Who will be the face of TCW after this? And just one more thing I want to show y'all. What better way to, again, have this premiere without checking out the official stadium for TCW overtakes Melbourne, Australia.
Come on now, Will.
I love this.
Overtake is killing me.
Overtake Australia, the land down under.
I love this.
It all happens tomorrow at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And you never know who's going to show up as commentary. So you might want to tune in tomorrow.
Wow. that is blockbuster. I think that is so cool.
That is so dope.
That is so
really cool. That's really dope.
You gotta check it out. It's actually quite fun. It's so
Bane
good.
broke Batman's back. Yeah. Didn't see that coming.
I mean, you got plenty of space to promote yours. You don't have nothing queued up?
No, I don't have the ability to press buttons over here, Will.
Yeah.
I love us. I promise you I do. That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. Congratulations. So that again, that's tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific. Is that right?
Yes, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Check out TCW. That should be amazing. And again, it is a TCW takeover. Overtake. Sorry, I could take it. TCW Overtake coming to you from Melbourne, Australia. That is incredible. Was it the Marvel arena?
The Marvel Stadium.
Marvel Stadium. That's awesome.
Because you lose it, you never win.
Oh boy!
That stuff is
yeah.
Yo, please clip this with Dion popping out just. It was so perfect. It was so perfect. With the shades on and everything.
My God.
I love that. Thank you for that, Dion. That was so good.
Oh my gosh. That's great. Well, shout out to everybody who has joined us today. You guys are absolutely awesome. Make sure you are following us at WW Talk Pod across all the social spaces. WWTalkPod.com is the website. Lots of fun things, including our YouTube channel. I believe there's an interview showing up next week with one of the up-and-coming rising ring announcers in the game. Her name is Eliana. She has been doing work with Ring of Honor. Well, I almost said Ring of Honor. Reality of Wrestling and All Caribbean Wrestling. So she's going to be sitting down and talking with the boss lady. That will premiere on November 4th, I believe is the time frame for that. So be on the lookout for that. And again, shout out to all of you who have joined us. Stick around because again, Fright Night Dynamite. That's, Lord, it's too close. It's happening at the top of the hour. Of course, Courtney will be running that show. But until next time, you guys be safe, be sound, have a safe Halloween. Don't do anything crazy. And we will see you back here on Friday for WWT Live as part of Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.